Imagine this. 2022 is almost at an end, and you are just now realizing how excellent the White Lotus franchise is. Imagine being told it's a must-see series for more than a year, then finally watching it. If you were that person, you could be comforted with the knowledge that you're all caught up ahead of season 3. Today, we break down the first 2 seasons of HBO's White Lotus and talk about what could be coming next.
So what's this podcast about?
Somebody gotta keep it real, you know.
Reclaiming my time
by winning.
Keep my wife's name.
Catch me outside, how about that?
You're talking to
unabashed hater.
My style is impetuous.
King Kong ain't got.
You come in with some nice waves of the black screen.
You're average looking at best.
I took offense to that.
Robert.
You ain't got the answer, Sway. I have you beat.
You now have the Unmitigated Gall.
Thank you for joining the Unmitigated Gall Podcast. We talk TV, we talk movies, and we don't hold back. I am the real EG. At my side, a frequent flyer, a lover of vacations, spas, and debauchery. Hey, Chevalerie.
Hey, this is like my first time seeing and talking to you, so Happy New Year.
I know. Happy New Year to you as well.
2023. How was your New Year's Eve?
It was very kiddie.
Yes,
we had some family in town, so we did some things during the day. Now we went out to medieval times.
Oh, nice.
And then I was watching the Georgia game, of course, so I'm like, so I'm like trying to hope the game ends. So I paused right before the field goal, go do the countdown, come back, Georgia wins. 23 is amazing.
Okay, I did something similar. Had a lot going on with family and some big life changes for one of my sons. But got here New Year's Eve. I was like, I'm just gonna celebrate it at home by myself. I got like a seafood bag from Juicy Crab. There was some leftover alcohol, leftover desserts. But I was the opposite of you. I happened to I'm like, it has to be close to midnight. And it was 11:58. And I didn't pause the game. I just switched over to Ryan Seacrest. Happy New Year. I said my New Year's prayer. I came back and I'm like, wait, how did Georgia get the ball? Like we should be losing right now.
Oh, you switched too early.
I did. But luckily they replayed the field goal and I was like, oh my God, he missed it. Like I couldn't believe it, but was so happy because Georgia's in the national championship. So hopefully they can bring home a second one.
Now I got to call you out. You broke a rule of true sports fandom: is you don't miss the live action, especially when the game's on live.
But you broke a rule because you don't pause live action either.
No, I think it's better to pause it.
That's true. That's true.
And be like 30 seconds behind than to miss it totally.
I guess I could have just done the New Year thing on my phone, but I was like, oh, let me see who Ryan Seacrest has. He had Quinta Brunson, New Edition, Duran. I was like, oh, okay.
Whenever I stay at a White Lotus, I always have a memorable time. Always.
Welcome to the White Lotus in Sicily.
La Dolce Vita.
Chevalier, you just hopped on the White Lotus bandwagon.
Yes.
Now, before we get your reaction to season 1 and 2,
after that intro.
let's look ahead to what we know about season 3. So some bullet points. All right. So the writer/director says that season 3 will likely deal with death, spirituality, and Eastern religion.
Yes.
So we know season 1 was highlighting money, kind of rich people, and all the
haves
things that happen to poor haves and have-nots. Season 2 highlighted sex, and again, season 3, the creator says it's going to be around death, Eastern religion. A couple other notes for you: Connie Britton, who played the CEO wife, the mom. She will likely be back. Her character will likely be back.
Okay.
Yeah, in season 3. We know Tanya's dead, so Tanya ain't coming back.
Spoiler.
And then spoiler
alert.
Spoiler. And then and it was also teased that Michael Imperioli, who many of us know from The Sopranos, he could possibly rejoin the cast. he played Dominic DeGrasso. And so
the father,
the rich player dad. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and again, is likely going to be in Asia for season 3.
Yeah. I was wondering if you also, I saw this clip on Instagram with the writer and director, Mike White, but he also says it's going to be a satirical, funny look at death, Eastern religion, and spirituality. And if you remember, I think the couple, hold on, I wrote down their names because I knew I wasn't going to remember all of the characters. Of course, we remember Tanya and certain other ones, but the couple, Cameron and Daphne, Theo James. I know who Theo James is. I can tell you that.
Yeah. Big Theo fan, are you?
Oh yeah, yeah. Since was it Divergent or Divergent series?
He was in Divergent.
But remember, in one of the episodes, I think at the very, very end, I'm wondering if they're going to show up there because remember they say something about going to the Maldives.
Mm-hmm.
Right as they're having dinner, that last, everything has come out, And so I'm wondering if they're going to make it. I'm wondering if Greg is going to make it. Because technically, Tanya died and her fear will likely become reality. He will get all of her money. So I'm wondering if somehow he is going to be there, if Portia's going to be there, or if Portia's just going to be like, I'm out. Like, I can't deal with this. The assistant.
Yeah, I don't anticipate Portia being there, but yeah, I think it would be great if Greg was there for all 3 seasons.
Right.
Because he's a minor character, but yeah, it'd be nice to have him tie it all there.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited. Yes, I was late to the White Lotus train, despite you and multitudes of people. I was like, fine, I'll watch it, and then got hooked almost immediately and watched season 1 and season 2 back to back.
Which did you like better?
I like season 1 better. I like season 1.
Too.
Season 2 was I don't know, season 2 seemed like, I know it says it's a Black comedy drama anthology, but season 2 seemed really dark to me. Season 1 had its moments too, but something about season 1 I just liked better. I liked the characters a little bit better. I don't like a lot of like gratuitous sex just like thrown in my face, and I think that's what it was with season 2. I know you.
That's what HBO is for.
I know, but
that's
it's like I don't.
For.
I'm single right now. I don't need to see all that.
I don't need to be jonesing.
Exactly.
No, I mean I love season 1. I mean, like you said, I think as a whole, I like season 2 characters better. But the one character that stole it for me was the hotel manager, Armand.
Oh my God.
The goal is to disappear behind our masks as pleasant, interchangeable helpers. It's tropical kabuki. Aloha. Welcome to the White Lotus. Please enjoy. Sometimes just watching them eat every night makes me want to gouge my eyes out.
Like watching his, I guess you could say descent, even though he was ramping up with drug use and activity.
Right.
I guess you could say his character's descent.
But just watching
that, it was, I mean, the actor just did such an amazing job. Yeah. I believed it. I was into it.
Yeah.
And just watching him be all fidgety and on the edge of exploding all the time. It's like, for no other reason, just watch it for, and the actor's name is Murray Bartlett. Mm-hmm. Again, Armand, the hotel manager.
Yes.
Now, the hotel manager in season 2, also pretty good. An Italian lady, what's her? Valentina was the character. Also good, but I just didn't feel like she was as compelling. It was nice to see her discover
her sexuality.
She's easily in her 40s, right?
Right. It was
just discovering that she's a lesbian.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that has something to do with like where she is. Season 1 was set in Hawaii. Season 2 is set in Sicily, and so I'm wondering if maybe where she was or the politics of being a lesbian in Europe, if that had something to do with the fact that she looks at least mid-40s and is still struggling with her sexuality.
Right. And maybe Sicily in particular, because, many parts of Europe, sexuality is quite fluid, right?
Yeah.
But
so
I get the feeling that Sicily is a very conservative part of Italy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, all right. So if sex is the focus, we know Valentina's struggle with sex. We know Cameron kind of being a philandering husband and Ethan being accused of being a philandering husband. That was along the sex theme. And then also, we kind of got a hint that to cope with Cameron's philandering, the wife, hold on. So Cameron and Daphne. Do you believe that Daphne had sex with Ethan there at the end?
When they went to that little island?
Yeah. I think she did.
I think they did too, especially because Ethan was just so sure that Cameron and what's his wife's name? Harper. They were so sure that he was so sure that the two of them had sex when he went back to the room and the door was locked. And I thought the same thing. Why is this door locked? Why do you have this chain on this door? Like, it
was at least some heavy petting, right? It was.
Well, I mean, she claims it all. He kissed her, and then right at that moment, he knocks on the door, but he was like, "Nah." It took me a good, couple minutes to get there. You guys were already gone before I realized I had been in the ocean. Don't know how long you had been in the room, so there's no way. So I believe that Harper and Cameron likely had sex because remember, Harper believes that Cameron and Ethan slept with the prostitutes or slept with, because of the condom that she found in the couch. So I think that she believed, and
more importantly, Ethan wasn't hitting that.
Exactly. And she had been trying.
She could have been.
She tried.
She could have been upset at her cheating husband, but the fact that he wasn't having sex with her still, that let that build up inside of her.
Yeah. And it just sucks though because he didn't. I think the girl kisses him, but he's like, "Yeah, I can't do this," and so it just. But I for sure believe that Daphne was of that whole, like, well, I know he's doing it, so I'm going to get mine too. So I think when she drug him all the way to that island, I think that they did. It's sort of implied that they did. So, yeah.
And sidebar, the actor, Ethan, that dude was cut. Will Sharp?
Right.
He was looking like babyface Bruce Lee.
I didn't understand this whole, like, okay, I've never been married. I'm the single one on the podcast. But this whole, like, well, he's a morning person and I'm not, like.
No, I think what complicates is that they don't have children, so it seems like they'd be able to find the energy and time, but
they also
let's say
like
he's a busy person.
Right. Okay, I get that.
Maybe.
But like, so there's no time and there's no part of the day where y'all can figure out how to do this. I actually wrote them down as the odd couple because I didn't even understand, like, how did the two of them get together? They're so awkward with each other. It just didn't even seem like they should be married. It was like, it wasn't a marriage of convenience, and I just couldn't understand how they even got together.
They could have connected on like a nerd level, like
intellectual level for sure. But
the politics.
You're right.
And,
like when
all that.
Ethan was ripped, I was like, "Well, girl, like."
I was like, "Dang, boy,
if you won't do them, a lot of other people will."
I know, right? Hold on. You mean to tell me you got tech money and you ripped to shreds?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah. Lots of sex and debauchery in that show.
Staying on season 2, who do you think, I have my opinion, who was the breakout, or you can give me a couple of breakout stars in your opinion?
Breakout.
Because everyone seems to love Tanya as a character, but I kind of hated Tanya. Actress Jennifer Coolidge played Tanya.
Yes.
Who we now know, spoiler alert, died at the end. She was the one who died.
I did not see that
So
coming.
who were your breakout stars?
My breakout stars, I think, were Mia.
Okay.
Because the girl
the singer.
She can really sing. Like, I was like, okay. I really liked Albie.
Albie. Oh, the little
son
of a son.
I really liked him.
You know what Captain Samaho. I was so disappointed.
I'm disappointed in what he ended up doing, but you know me, I'm like, Albie looks tall, so and he is like, I realized this as I'm watching it. Who is it? Is it Jack? Portia's boy toy. Remember, she's with Albie. And it just reminded me, I'm like, oh my God, you don't realize, little girl, that Albie is who you need to end up with. But we all went through that whole bad boy phase in our 20s. And as soon as she turned her attention to him, I was like, no, go for the good guy. I promise you this is going to work out better for you.
Went to Stanford, had a rich dad.
God, like
was a simp.
And,
I mean, it's clearly your life is going to be better.
Like pursuing her, like doing nice things, and then all you do, you see this boy at the pool, and he takes off his shirt, and I was like, no, Portia, like, trust me, don't do this, and you see what happened. You see what happened.
25-year-old have gone for Albie or Jack?
25-year-old Valerie?
Yeah.
Would have gone for Jack.
Exactly.
That's what I was saying.
So did Portia.
I just, if you could go back and talk to yourself in your 20s, I don't know what it is. It's like you like Boys to Men, but it's like, ooh, Jodeci, in the desert in leather. It's like, yes, I'm going that route.
Again, it's sex, right? That's the theme of season 2, right?
It is.
And Albie was just not a sexy character.
He wasn't.
This is the guy. Of course, you want a husband that's sexy. You want everything on your checklist, right?
Yeah.
But at the
Albie,
end of the day,
he was ripped too.
I mean, he's 20. I mean, he was like 20s fit, but he didn't look like Jack looked,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I think in your 20s, it's more so about that excitement and it's about that sexual chemistry. Of course, I think later 20s, definitely in your 30s, you're kind of looking to marriage and stability.
Yeah.
But Portia, however old her character was supposed to be, she wanted excitement at that moment. And so that's what Jack provided.
So for me, Mia and Albie, who were the breakout characters for you?
Well, I love that you say Mia, but maybe I'm telling on myself as a man. But Mia's friend,
is it Lucia or Lucia?
Lucia or Lucia?
Lucia. Or we're probably saying it the American way.
Right. Yeah, I was a big fan of Simona Tabasco, who's the actress, her portrayal of Lucia. I went and looked her up. I was like, who is this? This lady hot. So I liked her. And I liked Theo James as Cameron Sullivan. I was like, this is who this guy really is.
Right.
Like, he's playing this role too good.
Too well.
I'm like, I think this is Theo James. And what I love is sticking around for the end of the episodes. And
I was wondering if you
the
did
actors
that.
are doing like their little, I'll watch it all. And the actors are all doing their little debrief and everyone's all composed and nice. I'm like, that's the acting. The real Theo James is Cameron.
Right.
I'm like, you played this role too great. I don't believe you're like this nice guy who loves the character Tanya. Nah, you were Cameron.
But also, I guess I had never heard him speak in his role. I didn't know he was British.
Oh, really?
I guess I'd never seen anything outside of the Divergent movies. And in that, he doesn't have a British accent. And so it wasn't until I think I saw him on Good Morning America, and then I watched the clips at the end too. And I was like, oh my God, how could you?
Well, I met him before.
How could you be sexier? Oh, let's add a British accent.
Right.
Jesus.
I met him ahead of the Divergent. Him and Shailene Woodley was doing some press around CNN.
Nice.
And I was like with the .com people, and they were interviewing them. And I remember saying, I was like, dang, he looks better than the girl in this series.
Yeah, he's very, very, very attractive man.
So, but yeah, no, I think just how convincing they were both as characters, how charismatic, like Cameron, he was convincing everyone to do what he wanted to do. He convinced his wife to stay. He convinced his buddy Ethan to hang out with him after who knows how long not being in college. I think the characters said they were like 36.
Yeah, they look like mid-30s.
So they were out of college for a while in their careers, but he convinced them, and he's convincing them to do business together in the future. He was like...
Harper tried to tell him, I think he's here. They invited us for another reason.
And Harper knew he was a snake, but she was still... We could see early, she had her guard up. She was still susceptible to his charms. I was like, ooh, he's going to hit that.
You can sort of see how she was sort of peer pressured into... Because she was so standoffish.
Oh, Lord.
She had her guard up. She wasn't. She thought
peer pressured into sex.
No, not into sex, but just to like being with them,
hanging out,
involved. She didn't want to go on that trip with Daphne. I think she thought she's better than Daphne. She's smarter than Daphne, and just didn't feel like why are we here? I know that there's an ulterior reason, but she eventually has to let her guard down. She sees how it's impacting everyone else, including her husband. And that was the beginning of the end for her.
I know. And it's crazy because, and you know what? And I think Audrey Plaza, it's hard, but I think Lucia was a breakout star because we didn't know her before. Mm-hmm. But I think Aubrey Plaza, who a lot of us know, me included, from Parks and Rec, I think she kind of that's Harper. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So, she kind of played the character that she always is, this kind of a blank face, sarcastic character. Okay. But it just came off well, and I just think it's going to do great for her career going forward because I think, when you think about this season, you're going to be thinking about Harper a lot, right? So, it's tough. I can't wait to see Cameron, Harper. Yeah, I agree. I love your prediction that Greg is going to come back.
I love he has to because he has all the money now. And I was talking to someone else that watches the show, and I was like, oh, but unless Portia lets them in on how he was involved with all the people, but I think she's so afraid that she's just not even going to show up. She's just going to, let him take the money. And, but I saw some comments on the HBO IG page, and they're like, I need Greg to show up in season 3, but I need him to suffer. I need him to reap the repercussions of what he did to Tanya. But I'm with you.
Does that mean that Greg was gay? Do you think Greg is gay? Or did the
it was sort of implied. Well, is he gay?
Well, remember, he said the guy who set up Tanya said that he loved this cowboy, right? And we saw the picture of him as a young cowboy. Right. But the cowboy didn't even necessarily know that he was gay. So maybe not.
Yeah, I don't think he's gay. I just think he was trying to go after her for her money. And I felt that way from the very first time I saw him trying to get into her room with the room key. I'm like, come on, dude. This is so obvious.
Are you talking about season 1?
In season 1, when he's trying to get into her room. And it's like, at some point you're going to look up and go, oh, I'm at the wrong door. And the fact that he was struggling I was like, nah, something's not right here. Something's not right.
Wow. So you believe it was foreshadowing that Greg was trying to steal from Tanya all the way in season 1.
Yeah, I didn't fall for. So let's just go back a bit. Season 1, when they show the human remains getting on the plane. Mm-hmm. I knew it wasn't the wife. I knew it wasn't. I wrote down their name too, Shane and Rachel. I knew it wasn't. Right. I knew it wasn't her. That was too obvious. And then at the end of season 1, Greg starts to get this cough, and I'm like, it's not going to be him. That's too obvious. I did not realize it was going to be Armand. That I did not.
Rest in peace, Armand. He was a real one.
To me, there were so many things in season 1 that were obvious to me. It was obvious that Greg was after her for her money. It was obvious that Tanya was not going to help my girl. She will always be Kelly to me. But her name in the show was Belinda, Natasha Rothwell. It was so obvious she was not going to help her create her own wellness center. So many things were, I ended up being surprised about a lot of things. Especially the daughter in that family, and we'll get to her in a minute because I have some serious issues with her. And I know she's from Euphoria, and you're a big fan of her, but her character I have some issues with. But to me, Greg after the money, Tanya not having Belinda, those two things really stuck out to me in season 1. They were just obvious to me.
See, I didn't get that from Greg. I felt like Greg was just kind of this Joe Schmo dude who, wanted to hook up on a trip and kind of fell into it. I didn't, I feel like it was kind of an organic relationship. I didn't feel like he had this long running conspiracy in mind. Yeah. Because how would he know that she was super rich?
That's what I was
definitely had to have some level of money.
How would they have known unless, there's... I don't know.
Yeah, I kind of felt like it was
list or something. I don't know.
I kind of felt like he just fell into that relationship with Tanya. You're here, I'm here, let's have fun. And then, that's how many relationships happen. It's just 6 months later, we're still hooking up.
Right.
So, that was kind of my opinion. Final thoughts on season 1. What do you want to say about that?
Season 1 to me is a clear example of the have and the have-nots. And for me, the season 1, the daughter, what is her name? Olivia. Sydney Sweeney.
Olivia.
Her character. She is what Black women hope white allies turn out not to be. She was conveniently, for her friend Paula and all of her struggles, and that girl seemed to have more medical conditions than anyone alive. She was always a rebel and going against everything her parents said, and ends up switching her tune, and rightfully so, when she realizes Paula is the one who is responsible for her parents getting robbed. But it's almost like it's like the cool thing to do, is what it seemed to me for her. It was cool for her to be a rebel. It was cool for her to go up against her parents and, saying things about, homosexuality when her father finds out that her dad died from AIDS and was on the DL. Like, she is what a lot, I think, of Black women hope. Like, you hope when you meet a white ally, you hope that they're actually for the cause and not, going to switch and turn, when things start to go bad. And so I had, man, when she switched as quick as she did, I was like, oh my God, that's what I got out of her character.
And I agree, but to me, let's not let Paula off the hook because, like you said, Olivia was predictable, right? But Paula ended up being just as bad because not only did she bring a gang of drugs and get Armand's unraveling underway, she ended up ruining the life of her holiday vacation hookup.
Yeah.
She ruined this dude's life with the brilliant Karen-like idea of, hey, you can just get these jewels and be fine. Yeah. So it was kind of like a hood Karen move. So it was, I hated that. And I don't want to let her off the hook because she ruined that guy's life after accusing these white people of, appropriation and stealing. And she was just as problematic because she set this dude up with how did she even think this idea could work to break into a hotel safe and you work there? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it could have worked. All she had to do was try to stop them once the mom and the dad got into the argument and they got off the boat. Like, you knew you had put this plan in place and that he might be going through with it. Like,
it would have never worked. The guy worked there. Yeah. They would have at some point discovered their jewels were gone. The hotel would have checked room keys, cameras, cross-referenced everything. And they would have found it was a terrible idea. Yeah. And I hate that Paula did that to that guy. But anyway, we could go on forever. We're looking ahead to season 3 now, White Lotus. We don't know the date yet, but we'll be looking out for it. And now we can talk about it when the episodes drop because Chevalerie is on it.
I'm caught up for once. For once, I'm on time. Not on time, but I'm still in the mix.
Nice. Hey, you at home, stay in the mix. Subscribe, follow us. We're going to be dropping more about White Lotus, the best TV shows, the most talkable movies out there. Thank you for watching. Chevalerie, can I get a heart sign? Boom. Thanks.